Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Mike with smartoptiontrading.com. It is Friday, November 1st, first day of the new month. This is our weekly recap. If you're interested in learning more about me, please come to smartoptiontrading.com, click on real-time option flow, and tell you everything I do, all the flow delivered news, trades, events via private Twitter, morning setups video, getting you guys ready for the day, talking about what I like, what's going on in the markets today, what to be aware of, what names I'm looking at, nightly recap video discussing the day's action like this and what looks good moving forward. Get a weekly mentoring webinar. This is where we come in once a week. We do teaching for about a half hour or so every Thursday night at 4. And I'm live for about three and a half hours a day where you can interact with me. So all this for only $25 a month, $100 their month thereafter. Click on the link to go in. All right, so first thing I want to start you off with is this chart of the VIX. And I put up charts every Sunday, but I want to show you guys this again because this is a time to be a little bit careful. Again, not looking for the market to do sell-off or dump, but volatility is about as low as it's gotten this year. And every time we've gotten down here, we've had issues. So just be aware, we're right down close to this 12 area. It's 1235 right now as we go into the close. So just pointing it out. Bottom line is this week, bullish week. When we look at the SPY here, we open our chart up, you can see here that, we've been riding the 8-day since the 10th of October. First time down, held it, second time, third time. This week we played with it yesterday, and now here we are at a new all-time high, and yesterday was a profit-taking day. For members of my subscribers, I talked about why I didn't think anything was to worry about yesterday. We had a lot of data coming to us today. I've gone over this with my subscribers in the video about why I think this market's trying to break out and reach escape velocity. That doesn't mean it may not pull in first a little bit or rest. Doesn't mean it goes straight up, but it does feel to me like this market is going to go higher into the end of the year, and I believe every dip should be bought at this point. So this week was a big earnings week, one of the biggest earnings of the year. And when you look at the flow over here for the week, and what we picked up on, there wasn't a lot of flow that really want to sink your teeth into because most of the flow is earnings flow. And earnings flow is typical for a week like this week where they're playing in the earnings names. The nice thing is when you have a lot of names with earnings, they give you things to do. That said, today we talked about Apple. I didn't grab it, unfortunately, but Apple here, all-time highs today. We talked about this and value plays. Banks, IWM, Apple, value plays is where the money continues to rotate into, and you continue to see a little bit of problems in some of the tech names having issues getting going, or they continue to try to play around a little bit or have a hard time getting going. That said, Apple up here, not something I'd be chasing. It needs to pull back in. What else this week? Roku was choppy this week. Facebook earnings were not great enough to launch it. What did work this week? Kraft Heinz had worked this week. A nice trade there. You can see this thing up nicely here. This is a name that has a lot of shorts in it. Might be nice for a good short, short squeeze and let it rest a day or two and go. But nice move on that one. What else was good this week? AMD after earnings, right? Look at this chart here. Earnings day didn't do anything. Then yesterday woke up and now extending and almost to its range high breakout of 35.55. So we'll keep an eye on that. The flow this week, we saw into names like XLB, the home builders, AMD, Microsoft, some buying. Microsoft hasn't been going anywhere, keeping an eye on it. But still, you look at this chart, looks okay up here, just not quite ready to launch. BMY had a ton of flow today into November 60s and some other ones. Not reacting well to it, so didn't take it, but watching it. AbbVie had nice flow today as well, post-earnings. They hit the December 85 calls. I would keep an eye on this one. This one's had as a nice chart. It's been working well. The other one that was interesting was Netflix, and Netflix came in, and the order came in on the bid, but the name took off, and that was the February 290s. Big size, 3,500-ish of them, almost a $7 million bet, and you can see this candle. That was when that flow came in. This is a name we'll keep an eye on here. This also meets the name of beaten down names. One of the names I'm most interested in watching next week is Square, which has earnings here going into next week. And you can see, we'll just open this up here. Square has earnings next week. You can see this one trying to wake up here, going sideways. Okay, been a long time down here. I think this one can get going again. Remember, PayPal had good earnings, so I want to keep an eye on Square. Roku has earnings. This name is a mover on earnings. We'll keep an eye on this. I haven't traded. I traded it once or twice this week, and I haven't traded the last 2 days because the action dictated not to trade it. And that's the one thing I talked to my subscribers about this morning because they were asking questions is, Don't trade this thing when it's not in play. And right now, it just was too whippy, too choppy, just not a good clean-cut trade on it. And that's when you want to avoid it. You don't want to force names. BABA today, I was looking for a trade on this thing pre-market. It yanked. I was looking for a trade during the day, and it was just all over the place, closing on the lows, not a great sign. Bottom line is we go into next week, a lot going on here. SPY at all-time highs. The IWM trying to take out this area here, this 158 area, 159. This is a big area where it's failed multiple times. If it can get above there, this could lead us. The fins have been strong. Look at the XLF, this long-term here, open this up for you, this long-term line of resistance finally took it out here and is pushing above it. Yesterday dipped to it and held it. That's very bullish, right? See if it can consolidate. And you can see the names there with it. JP Morgan holding in nicely there. Look at that thing there. Nice big move to new all-time high. Bank of America trying to wake up as well, holding in well. And just very nice moves in some of these names. So I hope everybody had a good week. Nice green week for me. Didn't trade a lot, but what I traded really worked. For this week, for the most part, traded Roku and Microsoft, Bank of America, Micron, Merck, Roku again, AMD. I even get a covered calls. Got a break on that because of Toss's issues. Even made even more money. Trade a little guy called Cure. Why? Because I was bored. Made money on Nugget, BMY, Kraft Heinz, and I traded X today. And sometimes, guys, it's just looking for those nice setups, a nice green week. Everything kind of worked for me this week. I was much more patient with most of my setups this week, and that's why I think it's working. I was willing to let things go red for the thinking process, the thought process had come back. So looking for me right now in this market, I'm looking for dips to buy to get longer this market. I'm in heavy cash position at this point. So I wish you guys all great weekend. Have a good one. I'll post charts on Sunday. Everybody have a fabulous one, and I'll catch you bright and early on Monday morning. Thanks, guys.